2420.
Show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with Jeff Symbieta, A. Marie Castillo, and JJ Buck.
Well, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. But when you dig yourself a big hole on the road, you're only going to be able to climb out of that so many times. And when you play the worst 10 minutes of the entire season, when you are underdogs when it comes to the spread, when you are playing another top 5 opponent, you're going to give yourself too many things to overcome. And Utah State last night, they played a fantastic basketball game. They made the Lobos look pedestrian in the first 10 minutes of that game. And New Mexico could not climb out of a 19-point hole, a 19-point deficit at halftime, as Utah State victorious 84-73, handing the Lobos their 4th loss in conference play, their 4th loss on the season. New Mexico 19-4 overall, but that 6-4 mark in conference play, that stings right now for the Lobos. Utah State gets their biggest victory of the season in a kind of got to win game. They kind of looked pretty darn good with what they did to the Lobos. And how you feeling after that one? Because the 3 other games, they were frustrating that the Lobos lost. But they competed down to the end. Fresno State, UNLV, it took double overtime for them to lose at Nevada, a game that they had won at the end of the first OT. But last night was the first time all season that you had a whoa moment for Lobo basketball. And they did not look good at all in Logan, Utah. Still a 19-4 team. But if you're talking about a regular season conference championship, that ship is starting to pull out of the harbor. And you got to lock in and realize that Lobos do not have room to trip up against anyone outside the top 5 the rest of the way. What it do, everyone? Welcome into the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal. JJ Buck, A. Marie, our quarterback Ned James with you this morning. And it was an eye-opener, and we knew it was going to be a tough test. Utah State is a really good basketball team. Utah State was favored by 4.5 points yesterday before that game started. But I don't think any of us thought that the Lobos were going to be down 19 points at halftime. That first 10 minutes, offensively, defensively, the Lobos just did not look good. And you credit Utah State because they took advantage of everything. All the mistakes the Lobos made, you look down at halftime, it was 22-6 points off of turnovers. So just 8 Lobo turnovers in the first half. Utah State was able to convert into 20 points. Overall, they were plus 16 at the free throw line. They were their more aggressive team. And they kept the Lobo guards in check, and that I know that's something that jumped out to you last night.
Yeah, the guards, that was, like you said, was the one thing that really jumped out. They just could not get going early. That Sean Barstow, he just would just shoot right over him. And then on the offensive end, they just didn't seem like they could get any kind of comfort or any kind of familiarity with the Utah State rims or something, because they just could not get any buckets early. It just seemed from the beginning of the game, they just kind of seemed out of sort, the 2 guards, House and Mashburn, to me. And then, they kind of looked a little nonchalant, but I'm sure they were locked in. They were just trying to execute, their game plan, and it just wasn't – the ball just was not falling. I was really surprised at how well Barstow played and how smooth and fluid he was, just coming into the lane and out of the lane and getting up shots. This team with Udeze could be a good team because Udeze can get his shot anytime he wants it, pretty much. I mean, he kind of seemed like, he had some struggles with, the bigger guys, but he always kind of finds himself and gets back into a rhythm. I just thought it just took the team too long. I mean, they got within 4 at one point in the third quarter there, and then they just could not, hold them off on the defensive end. They just could not put together any kind of a strong defensive stand to get themselves, at least a little bit of a lead at some point in that game. And so it just seemed, KJ Jenkins didn't seem like he could get any kind of a rhythm on his shot. Guys started picking up buckets later in the game, but it almost seemed as if, those were like trash buckets because they came later in the game. And I'm still trying to find out Josiah Alec. I mean, I'm trying to, even watching him in practice, I can't, the rhythm of the game and how he plays, it just seems a little herky-jerky at times. But, I mean, I know he eventually gets his rebounds and his points, but I'm just trying to, with this team, the flow of the game, I'm trying to see how he fits in. And, Javonte Johnson played well. I would have liked to have seen him get some, some blocks or something on a couple of those guards. But, he just, for some reason, I just on the defensive end, I thought I was expecting a little bit more with not allowing these guys to make the buckets that these guys were making from Utah State. But in the end, it just seemed like we just could not get any kind of rhythm going early and late in this game.
Yeah, in the first half, the Lobos shot 40% from the field. Utah State shot 53% to have that 19-point lead. They flipped the script. The Lobos, as you said, got going in the second half, made a couple runs there, but the deficit was too big to truly overcome. UNM at one point, they went on a 9-0 run, but then Utah State would come back with like a 7-0 run, and they were able to hold on to that double-digit lead because Utah State, in the second half, you look, they were 38% from the field. They were 2 of 11 from the three-point line, but they hit 16 free throws, so they still had the aggressiveness. While they were not hitting as much from the field, they were getting to the basket. The Lobos were putting them on the free throw line. The offensive efficiency was there for the Lobos in the second half, but that doesn't matter when you're in such a big hole in the first half. And the one thing I'm not concerned with is the Lobos offensively. Is they're going to find a way to get buckets. That's still the strength of this team. Are they going to play enough defense to be the team they want to be the team that Lobo fans are expecting them to be this season, a team that can win not just games in Las Vegas, but a game or two in the NCAA tournament, because that's out there. That's been put in the ether by Jamal Mashburn Jr. as well. He believes this team has second weekend potential. Are they going to be able to find moments to play enough defense? They're not going to switch their identity over halfway through the season, but they have been able to pick it up at times. And last night, it was a perfect storm of both the offense and defense not working in the first half and too much to overcome on the road. And we see a Utah State with those tricky shooting shirts, the color of the seats, the orange and the yellow and the pea soup colors. There's something about that arena, man.
Yeah.
It gets you, because at home, Utah State is fantastic. Their shooting percentages are outrageous. They're one of the best three-point shooting teams in the country. They were 5-9 in the first half, but it was the aggressiveness, how they took over. I know, A-Marie, that one shocked you a bit as well. I think everyone was just in a bit of shock watching that first 10 minutes.
And it wasn't that they couldn't catch a break. It was just they couldn't get it together. They couldn't get ahead. And if you look at the stats, both teams shot bad. Like, it was just a bad night.
Lobos actually shot 50% from the floor as a team.
Yeah.
So they were just very bad in the first half.
Very, very bad.
And I think what you're talking about, Ned, is you're trying to figure out Josiah Alec.
Yeah.
He's the glue guy.
Yeah.
He does the dirty work for this team.
Yeah,
but last night, the dirty work was done by Utah State. The 50-50 balls went to Utah State. It was early in the second half. There was that sequence where the Lobos defended really well. They had a good half-court set, and then Utah State heaved it up at the shot clock buzzer. It hits the rim. It's a long offensive rebound. They scramble, and they hit a three. And that, to me, was pretty much the story of the game. Is Utah State, the effort, the aggressiveness, everything was going their way, and the Lobos are usually able to match that. And the Lobos are usually able to have that feistiness. We see, Jalen House and his defense, Josiah Alec grabbing those rebounds, and everything went Utah State's way last night. And I think that's a bit of an eye-opener, too, for the Lobos, because this is still a good basketball team. But the reality is they're 6-4 right now in the Mountain West Conference, and they're looking up. Now, they have wins over Boise State and San Diego State, and they get a chance to sweep those teams, and that still is huge on the resume moving forward. But, Nevada, Utah State, they beat you. You get a return game against Nevada Tuesday night in the pit. That place is going to be popping.
Oh, yeah.
The Lobos are going to be ready to respond. They're going to be hungry. But, Lobo fan, how do you feel about the first bad performance of the season? Lobos have lost games. They've had stretches where games have got away. But even against UNLV at home, it was back and forth competitive game.
Right.
What happened against Fresno State? Not able to win it late, but it was a tight ball game. Nevada, double overtime. This was the first time all season long. You're watching the Lobos, and you're just like, man, they played some bad basketball for 10 minutes. You do that against a good team, you're going to dig yourself too big of a hole to get out of.
And a lot of people thought this was a good team. This wasn't a bad
we knew
team that they lost to.
The Lobos were
Yeah.
underdogs on the
road, yeah. But I just thought, at the beginning of the game, it just seemed like, from the start, Utah State was like, we could get these guys. It's not, they felt confident in their game plan. And it just seemed like I'm watching Mashburn, I'm watching House, just to see if these guys are going to try to get their shot going early. And I don't know what it was, what the strategy was, what the game plan was early in this game, but it just seemed like those two guys just could not find a rhythm early, because it seemed like once they jumped out in front early, it was, then it became catch-up ball. Then it became, okay, we got to try to find a way to catch up. And then they could never taking the lead said a lot to me about, who was the more confident team playing this game. I thought the Lobos would kind of, in some way, make Utah State feel less confident because, we're kind of the big dogs coming into this game. But they seemed, Utah State did not seem short on confidence at all. And I know they have a good record and whatnot, but I didn't expect them to have their chest stuck out like that.
They look good. They embraced the moment and kind of got a win game for Utah State. They looked very good last night. Utah State 84, New Mexico 73. 505-246-0610 is the 377 Brewery hotline and text line this morning. We'll continue to break down this game in the moments that stood out here from Richard Pitino and his post-game comments about his Lobos performance. Is setting it up now. It is a long hill to climb for the Lobos if they want to get back into a regular season title race. At-large resume, looking at the NCAA tournament, that's still there. And we'll talk with Jerry Palm this morning, coming up at 8:30, about the Lobos sailing with what's left versus what they have done. What could the seed line be with their resume to this point in time? The JJ Buck, Amory, Ned James. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am an Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman.
So for the first time since 2012, a head coach is going to be calling plays for the Dallas Cowboys. How do you feel about this one, Cowboy fans? Mike McCarthy parted ways with Kellen Moore, winds up with the LA Chargers. Kellen Moore, Justin Herbert should be pretty good because Kellen Moore and Dak Prescott, when that offense was healthy, they put up numbers. But now there's even more on the shoulders of Mike McCarthy, and for some reason, people don't like Mike McCarthy. They don't like him, but they love Sean Payton. But you put up their resumes side by side, they're essentially the same head football coach.
Yeah,
they are. But now the Dallas Cowboys are putting more on the shoulders of Mike McCarthy. Jerry Jones was at the Senior Bowl this week, and he said, quote, "This is the logical step to build on it and use what we've established. If you will, the foundation of things we've got, this is the time for us to build on it." That's what this is, a building step. And talking about Mike McCarthy, the head coach, taking over play calling duties. Now, some of the scheme things are going to change for the Cowboys. Mike McCarthy, more of a West Coast offense scheme guy versus what we saw from Kellen Moore. But Ned, what do you think this means for Dak Prescott? Do you expect the offense? Because that's the one thing. Outside of the turnovers, which that was a big issue. That was the main issue for the Cowboys and Dak Prescott this year. But they could move the football. They scored points.
Yeah. McCarthy cut his teeth in this league as a quarterback's guy, as a coordinator. So I don't think, if anything, I think it'll be a step up for Dak Prescott coming up this season, because I really believe McCarthy has been, he's had his kind of imprint on this offense from the beginning anyway. And so I've always been, when we talk about the Cowboys, and I like the Cowboys, I've always praised McCarthy in the fact that the only thing that I didn't feel or I could get a good feel for was the relationship between McCarthy and Dak Prescott. Because if they've got a good relationship, the head coach and the quarterback, you tend to be successful. So I thought the relationship, I just didn't get a feel for it. But now I have a better feel for it, and I think that they do have a good relationship. And so I do see this as something that can really blossom, and this team could, early on, I'm going to probably pick them as my Super Bowl favorites for next year.
Super Bowl favorites next year. Are
The
you
Dallas
hearing this,
Cowboys,
Amory?
Because
Are
McCarthy
you pandering
is
to the
now
audience, Ned
coming-
James?
Yeah, I was
Are
going
you
to say,
being serious?
does Ned know?
I'm not pandering. I tell you, I make these things. Now everybody jumps.
Hey,
First
he
it
was
was-
right about Jared Goff.
Detroit Lions. Now I'm going out on a limb again.
Okay.
Everybody beat me up. Even
I'm saving this right
the station
now.
manager Jared beat me up about Jared 2 years ago, and I'm going out on a limb again with the Dallas Cowboys. I do like the move with McCarthy because I do think the relationship between he and Dak Prescott is a good one. And a lot of people get on the running back issue, which I like Zeke Elliott, and I know a lot of people don't. And they got on the Pollard train. Now that he's got a broken ankle. What are they going to do there? They're going to have to find a guy to come in because you don't know how long Pollard's going to be. They don't know how he'll respond from his
Yeah,
injury.
and he's a free agent.
And he's a free agent, so he may demand or pout if he doesn't get the money that he wants. So those are all things that are lingering. But that relationship between the quarterback and that head coach, I finally have come to grips with that. I think McCarthy and Dak can coexist and work together well and do a lot of good things. A la the Aaron Rodgers.
We haven't even
McCarthy
played Super
relationship
Bowl
and
57
go to the
yet.
Super Bowl.
And we're already on
And
next
Ned James
year.
is saying the
I'm
Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl
next
next
year.
year.
I'm going to next year with the Cowboys. I'm
You
riding
wearing a
with the
Dak
Cowboys.
Prescott jersey under that Lobo shirt?
No. And,
Going on here?
It's not the fan. I like the fact that this is a Dallas Cowboys city, and so I enjoy going to to sports bars and watching the games. And there's lots of Cowboy fans there, and in all fairness, I do think this is a good team. I think having the defensive coordinator come back as well, who's been really one of the top coordinators in defense in this league, and having a premier play caller like McCarthy on that team, the special teams, all those things to me set up for championship. I just really believe that this next year will be their year. They got to get a couple more pieces on that offense with maybe a skilled guy or two, and then I think they're well on their way, and we'll see.
Or look at the NFC. Giant question marks with San Francisco in their quarterback position. Are they at the point where they have to just go all in with Trey Lance? He is the guy you selected 3rd overall. Yesterday, Kyle Shanahan, their head coach, said, quote, "No, I don't see any scenario of that." When he was asked if Jimmy Garoppolo could be returning as a quarterback for the 49ers next season.
It's like these retirements. Everybody says one thing and then they change their mind. Like they talked about Garoppolo like that last year. They said
did.
there's no way he's coming back. He came
Never
back.
say never. It just
Never
works.
say never.
It just works. But the problem for the 49ers has been availability of these quarterbacks. There's a reason they reached to try to find a higher ceiling quarterback in Trey Lance because Jimmy Garoppolo was off the field too much. However, now you had two guys that you were hopeful for. Trey Lance, he gets hurt with an ankle injury. Out of nowhere, Brock Purdy steps up. He has a UCL injury. His season is in doubt if he has full Tommy John surgery. So he won't be a quarterback next year. And so it opens things up in the NFC because I think the 49ers, from top to bottom, are the most talented team in football.
Yes, with their skilled guys, yes. And their defense, the way they're playing, absolutely.
But you have this giant question mark at quarterback, the unknown of Trey Lance. What are they going to do? And so it opens that door because the Philadelphia Eagles have stepped right in with Jalen Hurts this season, taking a huge step, being the MVP caliber quarterback. You look around the rest of the NFC, the Dallas Cowboys settled at the quarterback position. Offensively, can be explosive. Defensively, they create turnovers. So to me, there's more room for movement in the NFC for a team like the Dallas Cowboys to leapfrog one of these teams that we saw play in the NFC Championship game as opposed to in the AFC. So it's not that crazy.
Yeah, but
looking at the Cowboys.
The emphasis and the emphasis and the importance people play on the quarterback position, I think kind of gets overdone a little bit because you have to remember Trent Dilfers and the Joe Flacco's. I mean, teams win without great quarterback play. They win Super Bowls, and so do they really
Good
need that?
enough quarterback play? Because Flacco, that when he won it in the playoffs, his numbers were great for that playoff run.
For that playoff run, but during the season, he's just an okay guy.
And that's
and after that, he was just an okay guy. They got rid of him after that, even though he was the guy who won him a Super Bowl. And so, the quarterback play, there's other things, the fact that they couldn't get, and it was just so unfortunate because and that's the way people have to realize this game goes. And it's a great game. You could be good, but you got to have a little luck too. Yeah. I thought Kansas City really got lucky against Cincinnati. I really thought that was lucky at the end of the game.
With the
guy get it because I thought if they had to punt or they could not kick a field and they got that ball back to Burrow, he was going to win that game.
Well, it's what we thought when they punted him the first time, and then they stopped him with 44 seconds left. Kansas City.
Yeah, but I just thought that if Burrow got that ball one more time,
if they went to overtime, because at that point in time the game would have been over. There's only 8 seconds left.
Because
They're outside of
Mahomes
field goal
was
range.
not moving that well, and I just thought it was going to be a different game. I felt better. I before that game, I thought Kansas City would just win because I didn't think the ankle thing was that big a deal until the game started. And I saw he was
high ankle sprain.
But I really thought San Francisco would win against Philadelphia, and I thought because McCaffrey played, because I didn't think McCaffrey would play. Once McCaffrey played, I thought, they're gonna. Well, then the guy tears his elbow up, and then that game went.
Then
spiraling.
QB4 gets a head injury.
Yeah.
There is a legitimate conversation to be had about the curse of the 49ers quarterback position right now. As much as you want to talk about how talented that
They
roster is.
should never let Joe Montana leave. That's ever since then.
You had your one moment. Jimmy Garoppolo got you to the Super Bowl. You lost to Kansas City, and since then, it's been a revolving door at the quarterback position. But some big-time news in the NFC. We think it's going to happen, but never say never because the same thing happened last year for San Francisco. They're like, peace out, Jimmy Garoppolo, and then he came in to steady the ship before he got hurt, and then the Brock Purdy magic story went on. But Ned James thinks the Cowboys are Super Bowl bound next year. We haven't even played Super Bowl 57 yet between Philadelphia and Kansas City, but he thinks the Cowboys could be a Super Bowl roster next season. 505-246-0610 is the 377 Brewery hotline and text line. What did Richard Pitino have to say about his team's performance last night in Logan, Utah? It wasn't great, and head coach understands that this team still has a lot of work to do. The Lobos have won 19 games. They can win games in March, but last night was the first time that there were a couple wow moments, and not in a good way for Lobo basketball. This is the opening drive on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Logan, Utah has not been kind to the Lobos. They're now 2-17 all time at Utah State. That's a wild number. When I saw that pop up on the broadcast, that they were 2-16 in Logan. Logan, Utah. Great if you're there 2 or 3 days. Mountains, the snow. Very nice. In the valley, not great for Lobo men's basketball. They lose 84-73 last night. Suffer their 4th loss on the season. Already their 4th loss in conference play. I like this team. They are good. They have the front court. They have the back court. The last night was the first time where you said, wow, in a bad way, watching Lobo basketball, where they did not compete for the first 10 minutes. That was the worst 10 minutes they have played all season to start that game, offensively and defensively. And you credit Utah State. They were ready to go. They came out. They were aggressive offensively. And we talked in a lead-up to the game, Utah State, one of the best three-point shooting teams in the country, and they went right at the basket. They were scoring inside. They had the points in the paint advantage early in this contest, and then they chipped on some three-point shots to that. They continued to be aggressive the entire night. They closed the game in the second half by going 16 of 20 at the free throw line, and at the end of the game, they were plus 16 at the free throw line, and that shows an aggressiveness and assertiveness for a team, because that's usually the team you see from New Mexico is getting inside to Morris Udeze or Jalen House, Jamal Mashburn going downhill, getting to the free throw line. So if you look this season, the Lobos have been outscored in 5 games at the free throw line. Those 5 games include all 4 of UNM's losses. So that's kind of shows what team you're going to get. The Lobos are not able to get to the free throw line and not being aggressive inside. It's usually going to be a long night. So you credit Utah State and for how they game plan against this Lobo team last night. JJ Buck, A. Marie, our quarterback, Ned James, with you here on the opening drive. And head coach Richard Pitino talked about the poor start and what happened in the first 10 minutes of that game that set the Lobos up to trail by 19 points at the half.
That our offense in the first half led to a lot of baskets for them. We just were not ourselves offensively. We didn't trust the offense. We were trying to do it all ourselves. Had some uncharacteristic turnovers. We didn't turn the ball over in the second half, and we were able to go on a run. At the end of the day, they made 27 free throws to our 11. That really hurts us. I'm not saying it was a bad whistle, but when you're giving up 16 points at the foul line is tough. So the turnovers in the first half certainly showed some fight to cut it. But our start really put us in a hole.
Yeah, that's one of those games where you look at the box score and you're like, Jamal Mashburn had 17 points, 3 assists, just 2 turnovers. Jalen House had 14 points, 3 assists, just 2 turnovers. The box score doesn't tell the story of the game between those two guys. They struggled to get in rhythm early in that game.
It was shocking to me, the start, because and I got to be careful because, when you go watch practice and then you watch the game, you expect to see some of the similar things that you see at practice in the game. And to see just the lack, it seemed like a lack of effort on some part. Like they didn't really, maybe effort's the wrong word, but it just seemed like they just couldn't, the confidence part of it to me, because they seemed more confident in practice. And I like the intensity of the practice. I mean, Richard, he does a good job in practice. I like the intensity of what, when he throws that ball off that goal and that ball comes off that goal, them guys better be sprinting back, and they're getting after those guys. They're getting after the post guys and they're getting after the backcourt guys to get down the court, get on guys, match up with guys, get in lanes. And I like that part of it. And I just didn't see that at the start of this game. So it was kind of discouraging because it kept slipping away because I felt, okay, it's going to change. They're going to get back into this rhythm. They're going to get, going. And like I said, Josiah Allick, watching him in practice, I don't know how I described it yesterday. It just seemed unreal.
The way he plays is not smooth because he's the effort. He's a glue guy. It's a 50-50 guy. So he's trying to do all the dirty work for the Lobo team.
It just seemed when he's the other guys are kind of in a rhythm. He's in a different rhythm than the other guys are. And I saw that in practice. I watched him specifically because I'm trying to figure out where he fits into all this. And like you said, he's a glue guy. He's a hustle guy. And I'm not saying he doesn't the effort and the strength because he's a strong guy. It just seemed everybody else was moving at a different pace than he was, it seemed. And hard worker. I saw him doing the extra with the free throws, so it was impressive to see him make the free throws because he, everybody was going to get water and he would stand there and shoot those free throws in practice. I like to see a guy who's conscientious about what he's putting out there. And but it just seemed, like I said, with the guards with House and Mashburn, just and Richard said it in his post game. He said they didn't trust the offense. That's where the confidence. That's where I saw the lack of confidence. They didn't trust it because when you game plan, these coaches. That's why I like practices more than I even like the games, because I like to see how you build it. From the film room, even coming from the weight room, how guys train the weight room into the film room, taking what they're learning on the film, coach's game plan, taking it to the court, listening with the court, adjusting. Okay, you did this. You got to do this. Those kind of things. I try to look and see if I can match them up with what I see in the games. But, just like Coach said, the beginning of the game, the start of the game, I think he got away from a little bit. They're not trusting it is the term he used, the game plan. And that's the coaching part that I do like.
Because this is the Lobos are really a team that they're built off their offensive rhythm. When they get into that rhythm early, it picks everything else up for them. They remind me a lot of like a football team that they'll get a lead, and then maybe they're not great defensively, but then you start forcing things, and you throw an interception. Yeah. That's what I kind of get this sense of this Lobo basketball team is when their offense is running really good, they try to speed up teams, and then they get those turnovers, and they're going out in transition, and they didn't have that last night.
Yeah, their offense have saved them quite a few times this season. So I was like, whoa, we're in trouble last night.
Yeah, so we know that's the identity of this team. As you get the offense going, then it picks up everything else for them. And then they can speed some teams up. They can get some of those points off turnovers. Jalen House can be that much more aggressive. But Utah State really did a good job attacking the basket early for a team that shoots a lot of three-point shots. So their game plan was, hey, we're going to go at these guys and see if they can handle us, and then we'll stretch out the game. And Sean Bairstow, man, Cam, the Lobo legend who's watching that game, probably like, whoo, good on you, bro. But dang, can you slow down? Bairstow, 8 of 12 from the field, a game-high 20 points, and it was the length. And that's the one thing that matchup-wise is always going to be a problem. The Lobos, they can compete. They played a really good game against San Diego State, who has defensive edge. We've seen them play fast. We've seen them play slow. But the one thing that's been kind of a constant is teams that have multiple guys on the perimeter with length have giving them some fits.
Yeah. Well, listening to Richard, though, I mean, and I look at it, I'm not a basketball guy, so I'm just going by, based on my coaching experience, the process, the game plan, those are words and language that I love and I listen for. And listening to Richard explain, what the game plan was, and not trusting the game plan, and knowing when you're coaching and you put a plan in and you have this great plan and you think the kids have it, and then you get to the game and the kids are doing something that they did in third grade, and you're like, what are they doing? We didn't teach them that. We didn't tell them to do that. Why aren't they, staying with the game plan? Why aren't they, okay, maybe that first series, okay, they didn't get it right. Here comes the second series. Here comes the second time down. Okay, maybe, something happened and they got us, and we'll have to get it the third time. Well, then it keeps happening and you get yourself, dug in a hole. You get yourself down in the hole like they got. It's hard to come out, and I thought that's what happened in this game because they just couldn't get themselves out of that hole they dug themselves in.
505-246-0610. That is the 377 Brewery hotline and text line. We got more from Richard Pitino in his post-game comments. Lobos lose at Utah State. Now, they go into that game as an underdog. We were talking about this game yesterday. They were 4.5-point underdogs on the road, but it was the first really bad performance for this team this season. If you look at the schedule ahead, there's plenty of games they cannot lose. They still have good opportunities. You got Nevada Tuesday night at the Pit. Steve Alford, Craig Neal coming down that ramp with a double overtime victory against the Lobos in Reno. You got San Diego State coming to town. That game is already sold out in February. So the resume builders are still there, but the margin for error in those other games is not for the Lobos when you look specifically at conference play right now. So we'll take your thoughts, 505-246-0610. JJ Buck-Amory, Ned James. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am an Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543. Securities is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been.
The Sports Animal.
You know, it is an interesting stretch for Lobo basketball. Got plenty left. But only one game this week. Back at it Tuesday with Steve Alford and Nevada coming to town. Lobo's trying to get the split against the Wolfpack.
Gotta win.
Gotta
win.
There's games on that schedule Lobos can't lose.
Must win.
Can't lose to a Fresno State again.
Nope.
Can't drop one at San Jose State, Colorado State, UNLV. And you got to pick off one or two of these games left against Nevada, Boise State, San Diego State. You want to build your at-large resume. Lobos have some good wins. But even 3-4 good wins, now it's tough when we're looking at 68 teams. And you want to be one of those at-large teams after half the field is set when they give out those automatic bids. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. J.J. Buck, Amory, our quarterback, Ned James. This morning, the first quarterback domino to fall in the offseason, Tom Brady retires. And I think that shifted a lot of things for these teams. I think when you look at the potential for Baltimore to move on from Lamar Jackson or what Daniel Jones, Geno Smith could do, I think it put a lot more emphasis actually back on these teams keeping the quarterbacks that they know best. And there's a lot of questions in the quarterback off-season market. And how is that going to start to fall out as we move forward? 505-246-0610, the 377 Brewery hotline and text line. Lenny, what's going on, man? How are you?
Morning, ladies and gentlemen, and Ned, my favorite Patriot antagonist. How are you doing?
Antagonist?
Yes. No, I enjoy going back and forth. We haven't done that in about 6 months.
Okay.
So, first, let's go to the quarterback situation and the teams that are desperate. And that'll go to the Jets first because they're so hungry to win that they're going to probably make the stupid trade to get Aaron Rodgers.
You think that'll happen?
Well, if you listen to Aaron's interview on the McAfee show the other day, it's hinting that he wants to leave, and he's already said that he's willing to redo his contract because no one can take on $50 million a year for the next 2 years. So I could see the Jets doing a trade and offering him $42 million a year guaranteed and do a fully guaranteed contract for 4 years.
Okay.
Because they're in a win mode now, and their quarterback play hurt them last year, but they got a great defense and an upcoming offense. Okay. But the domino that's going to fall first is Garoppolo. He can't be franchised, can't be tagged, completely free and clear. So do you want to sign him for 2 or 3 years at $25, $30 million and build your quarter behind him? Baltimore's not going to let Lamar go. They'll franchise tag him at the minimum. But you also saw with A.J. Brown having a real quarterback who can throw, why wide receivers don't want to come to Baltimore.
I don't know. Maybe this is a different era, but I don't understand the whole idea of if you're the head coach, when you draft a rookie quarterback, sure, you have to have some veteran presence in there, but do you really want to just throw the guy aside, kick the kid to the curb, and then, hang your career on a guy that you're bringing in that you don't know, that's going to be new, that maybe he was a superstar on his other team, but now you have to deal with it. And I don't see that with head coaches.
I'm a Jet fan. I don't want him coming to the Jets. I want him to build, at least give Wilson another year with a good coordinator and teach the person. And bring a good backup, not Flacco, but somebody else that could also mentor him, because Rodgers isn't going to mentor anyone.
No.
Yeah. Most of these veteran guys are tough mentors. They're not really great mentors. Guys come in, they want to play.
Hey, it's business.
But it's interesting that they're trying to win now. When you draft this quarterback, you almost are stuck with him. You really gotta have to try to make it work if you're the guy who drafted him. I could see if Saleh was a coach that came in and inherited Wilson, but he drafted him. So it's a little bit different when you draft him.
All right, Lenny, appreciate the phone call. And the quarterback situations, because I think there's going to be a couple like that where you assumed that a team was going to take a step forward, but what is that step forward? Like right now, if you're the Seattle Seahawks or the New York Giants, outside of acquiring Aaron Rodgers, which is going to be really difficult, all of a sudden that quarterback market, you're looking around like, oh, let's get a 2-3 year deal done, continue to build the roster and see how good we can be. Because right now, the NFC, to me, it's wide open. Outside of, we know how good Philadelphia is, but San Francisco is probably going to be in that same boat where it's like, well, we have to go with Trey Lance now. We have to see what we have in Trey Lance, because outside of Jimmy Garoppolo, it's Derek Carr, it's Baker Mayfield. Like, it's not that much better outside of somehow, some way prying the expensive Aaron Rodgers outside of Green Bay. And I don't know if some of these teams that are feeling like they're on the cusp have room for that. Tony, you're on the opening drive. What's going on, Tony?
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good, man. What's going on?
Oh, another day in Tonyville here. So you're the Jets. You're giving up 2 first-round picks for Mr. Rodgers?
I'm not doing that.
I'm not either. There's no way. He's going to play, another 2 years maybe? To give up 2 first-rounders? Would you give up 1 first-round pick for him?
I'd do 1.
I'd do 1 also. Okay, we got all the small talk out of the way. Now let's get to the real issue here. You happy with Sean Payton coming to town?
I am happy.
So am I, but I'm not completely sold, because I just look at what he did for Drew Brees was great, but Drew Brees and Russell Wilson are very different quarterbacks in my eyes. I think so. They have some similarities, kind of, shorter quarterbacks, but Russ used to like to run a lot. Brees never did. Brees was more of a pure passer. Russ, I don't get that. I've never got that feeling from Russ, but I mean, I kind of wanted them a little younger, maybe with a like real gung ho offensive minded offensive coordinator is what I was kind of hoping for. But I mean, it's slim pickings out there, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, Tony, appreciate the phone call. Well, they tried that last year with Nathaniel Hackett, and we saw how well that worked out for the Denver Broncos. They were really hard on Harbaugh and Ryans. Jim Harbaugh and Ryans, who ended up going to Houston because he had that connection, played there, his wife's from there. And Sean Payton ends up being like the 3rd choice for Denver, but he's still a pretty good choice. But the thing that, as a fan, Tony, a Bronco fan, looking at this, there's a little hesitation because you just take a step back and you're like, wait a second. We just watched the Denver Broncos give up 3 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks, and you got Russ Wilson and Sean Payton. That is a lot for those two guys.
It is a lot.
That do not have room to grow, that don't have time for the honeymoon period. It's like you got to start winning NFL football games today.
And they don't know each other. That's the one thing people don't realize. They got to get along, and it's chemistry is big in the NFL. To win games, guys have got to get along. They have to buy into what each other are selling, and so it's hard with grown men. It's hard with egos and money and all that sort of stuff, and so those things are important. And these guys are professionals, but at the same time, it's a relationship business, and you got to be able to get along in order for you to be successful.
It's a business, and it was a tough night on the road for the Lobos at Utah State. How's their head coach feeling? It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
The Jim Rome Show.
How about the
Nelson, he's got 3 fouls, so he doesn't really want to be getting the ball.
The dagger. That's
Gomez!
Inside. Hostile gives it up. Shot is out. Oh!
Ball goes inside to Duke, guarded by Trujillo. Eli with the tip and the finish. Schermerhorn on the drive. Yes, strong fit.
She's gonna got numbers.
1 second. She slips it in just a. Still some time. Montoya, plenty of room. Yes. Wide open long ball for Jason Montoya. The screen, ball fake, but rejected. Boom. Rejects it. Quickly, or if they hold for the final. Wyckoff, yes, count the basket. A chance at a three-point play for Wyckoff, and a free throw is coming up.
Catch and shoot.
Hill, give it to the hot hand. Why not?
We're happy for the boys, and oh boy.
Coach.
I guess they knew about it.
One more.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
Lobo fan, the first really tough game in terms of performance this season. Lobos lost some tight games. UNLV, Fresno State, double overtime at Nevada. But last night at Utah State was the first time the team didn't look good. And it wasn't just a tough stretch of basketball. A tough stretch of basketball was the St. Mary's game, where they were trailing in the first half, or San Francisco. Now, those games where it's tough basketball, good defense, contested shots, but you're still battling. The first 10 minutes last night for the Lobos at Utah State, that's the worst basketball they've played all season.
And they were on the road, and so it's even tougher to rebound when you're on the road than if you're at home, because then you have the crowd to kind of pick you up. So I just felt bad for them getting down so early, because you didn't have the,
They stole the magic. They said it was Spectrum
They really
magic
did.
last night.
They really did.
It's been all about pit magic. They're like, you know what? This is going to be Spectrum magic. What is a Spectrum anyway?
The thing that gives
Call
me
it an arena.
optimism, but the one thing that gives me optimism about this team is that they did keep playing. They came within 4. That showed me that they have the talent and the skill to be a great team, because they were able to fight through it and get to within 4. So it wasn't all bad from that standpoint, because I was really down on them. I was really down on them.
It's all sick.
When they started getting behind, by
Well, they were down by
10,
19 points.
and
At half.
It was bad.
It looked ugly. But what gave me hope was that they did bring it to within 4, because that showed that, hey, this is a quality team. But to let it
Yeah,
get away at the
they're-
end, sometimes that happens when you're on the road.
Yeah, so here's the truth. The Lobos are a good basketball team. We are talking about the Lobos as both regular season and postseason contenders. We're talking about the Lobos as an at-large team in the NCAA tournament. That's why so much of my focus has been on the at-large resume, because that's the easiest way to get in. Is put yourself in position. Yes, everyone has a chance. The conference tournament, you can go win the automatic bid. That is really hard to do. Because you look at the Mountain West Conference this year, those top 5 teams, we've seen them battle back and forth. We saw it last night, Utah State, what they did. UNLV is going to be a problem in Las Vegas. So right there, you're looking down and going, man, there's 6 teams that can convince themselves they're winning the Mountain West tournament. So going into Vegas, you want to be confident in your resume. And for the Lobos, they still have opportunities. Nevada comes to town on Tuesday.
That's a must-win game.
Which you have to protect.
You have to win that game. Every home game.
Like San
from
Diego
now out,
State?
you have to protect the pit. And as to Adam, what Ned was saying, it is a game of runs, though. Basketball's a game of runs. But to me, I was like, oh, no, we don't need a run. Our offense is not. The magic of the offense, as you said, the magic was taken away. And what concerns me for future games is what if our offense isn't clicking and we can't respond to defense, JJ? It's not good.
That's the one concern I would have. This team.
That's the only concern I have. Like, if the magic isn't running, we got to be able to play. We got to be
Against
able to play our game.
Top opponents, because they're a team that it feels like everything. Not it feels like it is. It's we've seen it. That the offense sets up everything else for this team. They're really good. They're really efficient.
And that's not a
offensively.
bad thing,
No, it's
but we
just
don't know
who
how
they
to
are.
respond when they take away our game.
Yeah. And there's a game plan. I mean, coaches have a game plan, and they believe if that game plan is executed, they should be fine. And I thought, I think this is a really good coaching staff, and I think the quality of the game plan and the execution of that game plan showed when they got within 4. Now, here's the other thing. Must win, I don't know. The must wins are when they go to the tournament in March. Now, those are must wins, because now you got to build a resume in that tournament to get you into the NCAA tournament.
So, well, yeah, Las Vegas, because it's win or go home.
Right.
In the Mountain West
But
Conference
you're going to be
tournament.
playing good teams. You're going to play, if you can get past the first round, you're going to be playing a tournament quality team, NCAA tournament quality team, in that second game.
But you're playing one Tuesday night.
Yeah.
You played one last night. You got San Diego State coming to the pit. You got to go to Boise State. So there's opportunities to build on it. And there are games that you can't lose the rest of the way. Air Force, Wyoming, Fresno State, Colorado State. Can't lose those games. If we're talking about at-large resume, so where you don't have to go to Vegas and feel like you have to win those games. Do you want to win those games? Will that improve your seeding? Absolutely. But I think to what your point is someone is going to come out of Las Vegas feeling really good because they just beat a bunch of good teams. And that's where the Mountain West is this season, has elevated itself. Outside of the power conferences, this is the best basketball conference right now, the Mountain West. And so you lost to a good team last night. So this wasn't a bad loss in terms of it's Fresno State, it's Colorado State, Wyoming, plus 200 net rankings. It's not that, but it's the way they played that is frustrating. It's the first game they played where they weren't in it until the end.
It's not what you did; it's how you did it.
Exactly. But because you're not mad.
No,
that you
it's
lost
so
to Utah
true.
State.
You're
It's
like,
how you lost to Utah State.
Oh.
I'm not as discouraged, I guess, as a lot of people, might be, because I just think that it was just one of those things that the game plan, like Coach said, they just didn't trust the game plan. And sometimes young people do things.
Young people.
You just shake your head.
Dang
and go,
young people.
These dang youngsters, man.
It's concerned because people want to see March. They want to be in the tournament, and these games and conference play is very tough. And all around, this is just a tough part of the year, and that's why Lobo fans maybe are fearful and disappointed, because having a 19-4 record, you're like, oh yeah, we're in, but it's a lot more complicated in the Mountain West.
Yeah, especially when the conference is as good as it is. I mean, there's some positives. Coach is going to pull out the negatives, but he's going to show them some positives too when he's going through that meeting and explaining, hey, this is how we have to get ourselves better to win these games. We have to do these type of things.
Well, the close you're talking about when they got it within 4.
Yeah.
It was 27-23 with 6 minutes to go in the first half.
Okay, so it was right before the end of the half. Okay.
And so that was when the Lobos went on an 11-0 run.
Okay, so it got within 4 in the first
and
half.
then
That was the second half.
Utah State went on a 7-0 run, extended the lead back out to 19.
Right before the half.
And in the second half, I think the closest I got was 9.
Yeah.
There was always like a
7 or 9,
possession or two where the Lobos came down. They had a couple opportunities to get it within, I think, 6 or 7, and they couldn't do that in the second half.
Yeah, and KJ couldn't hit any shots. He came down a couple times, and he's the 3-point specialist, and maybe you could take a guy off the dribble or something, because they know you're going to spot up. That's what you want to do. So, and those are things that you try to change up your game a little bit so you're not so predictable to a lot of people, and sometimes you do it at the wrong time, and those things happen, and I think they'll adjust, and I think they'll get back to work, and this Nevada team coming in, not a great team.
Not a great team? What are you talking about?
They're okay. We should have beat them up there, and it kind of got away from us.
Okay, great. Yes, great is an overused word.
Right.
I understand that.
But you think this is a really, really, really,
I think
really,
Nevada,
really, really good team?
Yes. I think for the Mountain West, with what we're looking at and how we're judging these teams, Utah State, Nevada, Boise State are really good basketball teams.
Okay. I don't agree. I don't think Nevada's that good a team. I think they're okay. And we'll see Tuesday.
What do you think about Utah State?
I thought Utah State was pretty good. I thought they were.
You think they're better than Nevada?
Yes.
Okay. That's fair.
I thought they were better than Nevada. But we'll see. I mean,
I absolutely think
good.
the Lobos.
When you're a coach, everybody's good.
Yes.
When you're coaching a team, I don't care if that team got a 0-15 record. You think, man, they could beat us. This is going to be their one win of the year. And so you go in always with the pessimistic view that you could possibly be upset, and so you try to get your guys ready.
Because I think
physically every
top
week.
to bottom, like if you're just looking at the key players that are playing, I would take the Lobos over Nevada. I would. I'm there with you. But I also think that the top 5 in the Mountain West, and then at times UNLV when they're clicking, have separated themselves. Like that's. You put all those teams together, and you're going to see them beat up on each other.
Right.
That's why I saw UNLV beat Nevada over the weekend. That's why we saw.
I'm bothered by
San Diego State lose.
I'm bothered by Alfred's smugness.
Yeah.
Kind of bothers me. So I have a a guy who used to be here. Kind of gets these accolades because he used to be here. I'm not.
Well, it should be
especially
interesting
if he's
Tuesday
not
night
alumni.
then.
He's
At
not
the
an
pit.
alumni. Yeah, he'll be at the pit. I'll be there.
Let him know.
I'll give him
Let
a
him know
look.
what's up.
Hey, I got my homies with me here, man. So you can do all that. I used to coach here stuff all you want. I'm alumni.
Cherry Blazer game for the Lobos Tuesday night when Nevada comes to town. But how you feeling about this team? The Lobos are a good basketball team, but last night was the first time you're just watching, and it wasn't like, you'll miss some moments, need to be better here. They just played bad basketball for 10 minutes to start that game, and that's something we haven't seen from this team to this point in this season. Down south, New Mexico State. Round of applause, everybody. They picked up their first conference victory.
I saw that.
The Aggies defeated Stephen F. Austin 73-67.
All right.
Golf
It's a
clap for
start.
that
It's
game.
a start.
They're now 1-9 in WAC play.
I'm being
Unbelievable.
sarcastic.
I know
Yeah,
you are.
Ned, I wasn't sure if it was like I felt a little sarcasm
I'm
in that
happy
clap.
for our little brothers to the south. I know everybody hates because I call them our little brothers to the south, but they are our little brothers to the south. So, but we have to be happy for them when they do something positive because
Well, that's
bring your little
that storyline this season is 30 for 30-ish with everything that's going on. What we're still going to find out about everything, but New Mexico State 1-9 now in WAC play. That's their first victory this season, beating Stephen F. Austin 73-67. The crazy thing about that, like they could not be playing the postseason tournament because the WAC is a 13-team league, and only 12 teams go to the postseason tournament.
Yeah.
So they're fighting to just play postseason basketball right now.
Yeah, they probably need a break. They probably need to take this season.
Like, it's been rough for Greg Heyer and the Aggies, but they get their first conference victory yesterday. 505-246-0610, the 377 Brewery hotline and text line. Jerry Palm CBS Sports Bracketologist coming up at 8:30. We'll talk about the ceiling for the Lobos because this changes all the time. You can't make definitive statements on the bracket right now, but you can get an idea of what a team's resume is, what they have left, and is it a 7th seed? Is it a 6th seed? What could the ceiling be for Lobo basketball? And now a team like Utah State, they got a quad 1 win. That was huge for them. 4 or 5. What's the realistic number of teams from the Mountain West getting to the NCAA tournament? It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
And speaking of 377 Brewery, guys, I have been telling you it's my favorite brewery in Albuquerque, and it's conveniently located by the Pit on the northwest corner of Yale and Gibson, and it is your go-to place before all your Lobo events, especially Lobos men's basketball right now. We are doing pre-game parties every home game. February is must win. We have a huge pregame party coming up this Tuesday, February 7th. The game's at 8:30. We always do our pre-games 2.5 hours earlier before the game so we can get you in and out of the brewery, get you fed with their amazing food. We have food specials. They have wing specials. They're the best wings in Albuquerque, guys. I can't tell you enough. And come try it and tell me there's something wrong. But I know if you haven't had good wings, these are the wings you have to try. They have green chili cheeseburgers and fish and chips that they're known for. All food specials. They got drink specials. They brew in-house. They have local spirits, too, if you're not into beer. And we do prize giveaways, future Lobo tickets, merchandise. It's all the works. It's an amazing space. It's literally located right by the Pit. You got to get over there. I've been telling you, we got to fill it up with Cherry Red as we take on Steve Alford and in Nevada on Tuesday. So come over to 377 Brewery on Tuesday. I'll be starting the pregame party at 5:30 p.m. Make sure you come say hi to me. And if you can't, come on Tuesday. Check them out at 377brewery.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Evergard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
So who will be the new face of the NFL? It feels like Patrick Mahomes is a quarterback. This guy's got all the attention.
Yes.
But Tom Brady saying, peace out, y'all. For now. We'll see. Tune in week one of the NFL
he
season.
is gone, y'all.
99%. You're 110.
I'm 110%.
110% he's gone. I'm at 99%. Ned was at 50-50. But Tom Brady is actually retired.
He's not even at 40 days yet.
Did you guys see Giselle responded to his post too?
No, what did she say?
She's like, I wish you well in this next chapter in your life. Oh, the ex coming in hot on the retirement post.
If I was Tom Brady, I would have said, well, my next model wife should be great and supportive in my journey.
I just wanted to, I don't know if you guys caught that.
I'm going to get
check
a
it out.
supermodel this
Man,
time.
she just slipped that in there.
Sliding into the comment section on the Instagram.
And of course, everyone replied to it.
Of course.
So go check it out.
Well, that was such a no idea, but we all thought we do type of thing last year with Tom Brady and his family. And
Also, why is he got to do it like the week before the Super Bowl? 2 weeks before the Super Bowl. Like, I don't know. Just
we
wait.
can just start moving on.
Okay.
It's
going
not
to
next
take
week,
up all sports news.
not
I'm just
next
saying.
week.
I know, but I'm just saying.
So at least he did it this week.
He did it exactly a year apart, which I think is funny too.
There's these things don't happen by accident.
It's not like, was this going to be like Groundhog's Day every year? Like Brady
Comes
retires
back
or doesn't?
40 days from now, he's like, boop, quarterbacking 49ers. Here we go.
Mac Jones got hit by a bus yesterday. Everybody's calling Tom's phone now. That's the stage that's being set. What happens if Mac Jones gets hurt in training camp or Mac Jones gets hurt during the season? Does he return to New England in glory?
That's the biggest thing. Does he like Bill Belichick that much to go back?
It's not whether he likes him or not.
Is it Robert Kraft? Would he do it for Robert Kraft?
Would he do it for the people? Is he a man of the people? Do the people want to see?
Tom Brady's a
Tom
man
return?
of the rings. And wherever he's going to get a chance at another Super Bowl
We forgive
ring.
you for retiring twice. That's okay. You can unretire twice, and we won't.
Tom Brady is at the echelon where he could do that. He is at the point where
That's
you
why
can
this
say
99 and 100%
right?
is just. I don't get it.
Okay,
I don't get that.
maybe I'm coming down. You
Thank
got
you.
me down to 98%.
I'm trying to get you to 98%.
You said you were
That's
going
all
to get me down to 98%.
That's
And
all
you
I was
just
looking
did.
for. To get you to 98%.
Because Tom Brady
Sure.
is at the level where, yes, it's you hate him, you love him. He's been there. He's beat your team a ton. You either have the good memories of Tom Brady because you're a Patriots fan, or he's beat your team in the postseason and you're tired of that dude winning football games. But he is at the point where he can mess around and do whatever the heck he wants. And if 40 days from now he's like, guess what, guys? I'm unretiring.
Yeah.
People are going to be like, oh, this is crazy. How could you do that?
And I don't want
And then you're right.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, like, bleep, 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 bleep. Hey, Tom, it's San Francisco. John Lynch.
Yeah.
How you doing?
But by no means, I don't want any wackadoos out here listening to this on the radio go run over Mac Jones with a bus. I do not want that. I'm not condoning violence here. I'm just saying.
I don't know if we are reaching New England this morning. We're in a lot of places. People tune into the opening drive.
Surprised
I don't know about
when stuff gets
Boston.
out and people start thinking, the wheels start turning in people's brains, and all of a sudden, hey,
how do we get Tom Brady back, run
do we
over
get
Mac
Tom?
Jones? Yeah,
hey, he's leaving.
not too sure about that.
But he can't
When
leave us. He can't quit us.
So now it's the Tom Brady essays, Tom Brady paragraphs. Just saw the question: would you rather have Tom Brady or Joe Montana in the Super Bowl? But what do you think about Tom Brady, Ned? Because you were in the NFL. You coached against
I'm excited for this.
this man. Like, what is your lasting memory of Tom Brady going to be as someone that was in the NFL when he was doing his thing?
Now, and I know people think that I'm critical of the New England Cheaters and Tom the Cheater Brady, but one thing I did, and you know this, JJ, but I mean, I've always said this about him. I've always admired the fact that when people come, and I talk about this all the time, how you treat the custodian, how you treat the secretary, the assistant, those things are important to me. It kind of rounds out who you are as a person and player, in my opinion. And I've always had nothing but good things to say about Tom, because the players who have played with him, I haven't directly worked with him or coached with him. I know coaches that coached on the staff, and I know players that played with him. And not one person had ever said anything bad about what type of person he was, how he treated everybody, from the lowest person on the roster to the guy who was, the top tier guy on the team. So I've always had that. Now, and don't misconstrue this with, his championships and his success. He's not the greatest quarterback I've ever seen. I grew up in Los Angeles, a young junior high school kid taking the bus from East LA to the Coliseum to see a guy who I thought was the greatest quarterback I've ever seen, which is John Elway. I saw John Elway in high school, saw him in college, saw him in the NFL, thought he was the greatest thing I've ever seen. Saw Dan Marino up close and personal. I never saw a guy who could be getting tackled and the ball come out as quick as he could. So as far as the actual playing of the position, I played quarterback. The talent of the quarterback position, he's not someone that left me in awe at the position. As far as when I saw him play, I thought, oh, wow, this guy is going to be great. And that's probably why I went in the 7th round. He wasn't flashy, wasn't the kind of guy. I mean, even Drew Bledsoe, we had Drew Bledsoe at the Pro Bowl. Guy had a cannon, a BB for
I think that's part of the Tom Brady story, though, too.
But I like Tom Brady. I like him.
He became.
I just don't see him the way a lot of other people see him and
I think
admire
that
him
there's not
in that way.
I think that the Tom Brady true talent thing. Okay, did he wow you as much as Dan Marino and John Elway? No, but he put it all together better than so many of those other guys.
Warren Moon, some of those guys. I mean, just being around some of those kind of players, their ability. And you would ask most athletes and receivers and guys who play professional football, they'll tell you the same thing. They're not going to tell you he was a guy who just wowed you, but all the other things that he brought to the game with the winning and
he was good enough
in the class that
No
he
doubt.
handled himself with, after games, after wins, after losses, those kind of things. I think a lot of people admire, and of course, the championships that they won. Leave a lasting, memory for a lot of people who came up in this era. But that's, it's one of those things when you leave, that legacy, it'll have some blemishes, but
Every
at the same
story
time,
does.
at the same time, people will remember, what he did when he was in New England.
I think the biggest thing for me is 10 years between championships, and to be able to maintain it with one franchise. The early wins that they had, but then go 10 years before getting another one and then reel off 4 more.
Well,
which is crazy to me.
It is. Well, one of the things that, and I talk about this all the time, is the culture. You had the same head coach. You know, if Bill's not there, I don't think he has the success that he had, because Bill knew, you know, I've got this guy who's a 7th rounder. I can do no wrong. I can say, and people laugh, but and I thought this was strange. That was one of the strangest things I noticed when I first started coaching in the NFL. Most of the position coaches never wanted a first rounder. I'm thinking, what do you mean you don't want a first rounder? I don't want a first rounder, because if that first rounder is a bust, it's not going to be his fault. It's going to be the coach's fault. The coach was bad. Now, if you get a 7th rounder, and all of a sudden he becomes, you know, one of the winningest, you know, Super Bowl play quarterbacks in history, you know, now you're looked at as a genius, and that's how Belichick is looked at. He's looked at as the greatest coach of all time, because he was able to have that success in that amount of time, independent of Tom Brady in a lot of people's mind.
What kind of ceiling are we looking at for Lobo basketball? They lost last night at Utah State. What does that do for the Aggies? 4-5-team league. This stuff changes all the time, but you can get an idea of the ceiling, the floor. CBS Sports' Jerry Palm joins us next to talk NCAA tournament, college basketball. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company. Dream style stucco. Stucco is the way to go. A Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream style stucco.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
or the ones who go before all others?
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Hi, everyone.
Tonight, it was a kind of got to win game for the Aggies as they were searching for a quad one win. The Lobos are still a really good basketball team, but you take a step back and you're like, man, they're 6-4 in the Mountain West, and it's the truth. The conference is pretty good, but even the Lobos that have some good wins on their resume, you got to win at home. There's games you can't lose down the stretch if you're New Mexico. You're looking at Air Force, Wyoming, San Jose State, Fresno State, Colorado State. Then there's opportunities. You still got Nevada, San Diego State coming to the pit at Boise State before the Mountain West tournament. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal. JJ Buck, A. our quarterback, Ned James, with you this morning. The bracketology, the bubble watch is around the corner for our next guest, CBS Sports' Jerry Palm, who joins us every Thursday here at 8:30. Jerry, good morning. How you doing?
All right. How are you?
I am doing good. And you know, last night for the Lobos, they played probably their worst 10 minutes to start that game, and it's always going to be frustrating for fans. But when you're looking at results in the moment, and we know these things constantly change, there's opportunities, but what type of ceiling are you seeing from some of the teams right now in the Mountain West just in terms of their potential seeding line?
Yeah, you've got some, low-end bottom 25, bottom of the top 25 types of teams, New Mexico and San Diego State, the best of the group, Boise, and Utah State are, I would say, a notch below those. And then we'll see, and Nevada I would put in that group as well. And then, we'll see if UNLV can make a run. But, I think San Diego State and New Mexico have a chance to play themselves into the top half of the bracket, the best chance among the group of teams, which is a large group of teams, at least 5 in the Mountain West with a realistic shot of making the tournament.
I know for Utah State, that was their biggest win on their resume last night, and winning at home, I think that's what everyone is looking at the rest of the way in the Mountain West Conference. But winning on the road, true road games, how impactful are those when you start looking at the resumes? Of course, it comes down to the net rankings, but are you seeing a lot of good true road wins?
It's actually really what makes New Mexico's resume stand out is the wins at San Diego State and at St. Mary's. The committee will take a dimmer view of home court heroes. If you can only win on your home floor, or you can't really beat anybody worth a darn off your home floor, then that's a negative because the tournament's not played on home courts. So, if you've got, a borderline resume and you haven't really beaten anybody worthwhile away from home, you're probably not going to make it. So, the best thing that you can do for your resume is to beat a quality team away from home, neutral or road. But we don't get a lot of neutral games this time of year until you get to the conference tournaments. So, it's important to win your home games because you don't want those losses hurt more. It's a really lost opportunity, but if you really want to make a splash on your resume, beat a good team away from home.
Jerry Palm, CBS Sports, joining us here on the opening drive, and we're looking at the Mountain West Conference. We've kind of looked at the top 5 and really focused in on those teams. So we just saw UNLV beat Nevada, and that's something that has to be in the back of the minds with everyone else. As you go to Las Vegas, there's probably 6 teams in this conference that you could make a case that could end up winning it.
Well, and Vegas will play on their home court. So, they get that advantage every year for the tournament is they get to play on their home floor. So it's, I'm not ruling out Vegas. Vegas is still on my board. They're in the periphery. I don't ever get to them, but I haven't really just taken them away entirely. So, yeah, I'm kind of keeping my eye on them. I think, it would be generous to say that they're on the bubble right now, but you can't rule them out. And especially when you get to conference tournament time and you get a chance to play some of these better teams at home.
Hey, Jerry, out of these, you talked about these teams that win on the road. 3 teams, if you could give me, that no one is talking about that you think have quality wins that deserve to be in this NCAA tournament coming up, that you think can sneak in that no one is really talking about.
Wow, gosh. Then I guess I would have to go with teams on the fringe from the bigger conferences, like Penn State, like say Oklahoma, who got beat last night, but has that big win over Alabama. Teams like that, but from the better conferences, the better big conferences. The Big 12 and the Big 10 are the 2 best conferences this year. So somebody like a West Virginia, Wisconsin, who's been playing poorly, partly due to injuries, if they can get things turned around. I mean, those are teams that are kind of on the fringes right now, and Wisconsin's in the 70s of the net, so that nobody is definitely talking about them. Those kinds of teams, because of the schedule and the opportunity to resume build still ahead of them, have the best chances to play their way in from a position that's really off and where nobody's really thinking about them.
CBS Sports' Jerry Palm joining us. And Jerry, over the weekend, we saw the final installment of the SEC Big 12 Challenge, which always provides fun matchups at this point in the season. And you mentioned a team like Oklahoma that had that big win over Alabama, 93-69. Do you think we'll see things like this moving forward, and it's going to take the conferences some time to settle in? What do you make of these tournaments in season, and then the fact that this one, it's the last time we'll see it for a little while?
Yeah, it's not really a tournament. It's just a one-off day.
Yeah, on the schedule.
And you can't read too much into it. I mean, each game matters to the 2 teams in that game, but it's hard to really thump your chest over winning the challenge when the matchups are done in advance, and you'll get some stuff that's just weird that happens, and especially this particular one because it's in the middle of conference play. And some teams are, pretty focused on conference play, and all of a sudden you throw a random non-conference game in there, and maybe you don't really get their attention. But I actually kind of like that we have these games in the middle of conference play. So the SEC Big 12 Challenge is done. The Big 10 ACC Challenge is done, and that's largely due to the TV contracts. So, but the SEC and the ACC are going to have a challenge. I don't know if it's going to be this time of year, if it'll be during the regular part of the, schedule where you have non-conference games. I think they're fun, but to treat them as anything more than fun is overrating them. There's no, one conference can claim bragging rights for a day, but the SEC could have gone 10-0, and the Big 12 would still be the best conference, and it would still not be close.
What has made the Big 12 so good this season?
Quality non-conference play. That's how conferences earn their bones, if you will. How you perform outside the league is going to determine how good your conference is at the end of the season, because all of that good performance carries through everybody's rankings when you start playing these conference games.
CBS Sports' Jerry Palm with us. Just a couple more minutes. This weekend, Gonzaga at St. Mary's is a highlight game. What are you looking forward to the slate over the next few days?
Well, that game, obviously, because St. Mary's has been at the top of that league this year, but it's been Gonzaga's league for so long that it's an opportunity for each team to make a statement and to plant a flag and say, this is my league, either now for St. Mary's or still for Gonzaga. So, and especially because that game's at St. Mary's. So that one's really huge. Number 1, Purdue is at Indiana on Saturday. That's not just a huge rivalry game, but it's not really an important game in terms of conference standings or necessarily the bracket, but it might be the last time this season Purdue's an underdog going into a game, at least according to sites like KenPom. So that's interesting to see if Indiana, which has been playing better lately despite a loss at Maryland this week, if they can deal with Zach Edey. The Zach Edey, Trace Jackson Davis matchup is going to be a lot of fun. So those 2 games, stand out. I haven't looked too far ahead. the Big 12 is going to have 2 or 3 really top-notch games because it's impossible not to. So I don't know which ones they are off the top of my head, but the Big 12 is going to have some great games to watch.
Lastly for you, Jerry, if people haven't seen Purdue and Zach Edey, who's a National Player of the Year candidate, how good is that team?
Way beyond what the Purdue fans like myself would have expected at the beginning of the year, because they start freshman guards who never once have played like freshmen. Mature beyond their years. That whole team it's very unselfish. Everybody on the team is really unselfish. And that's, so like last night, Mason Gillis comes off the bench, hits 9 3-pointers in a 29-point effort against Penn State. Nobody expected that, but he can shoot. But the thing about Purdue is a guy like that comes off the bench, he hits a couple, and then you just keep feeding Zach Edey, or you tend to ignore him because he's coming off the bench. Well, Purdue's like, oh, he's hot. We're going to keep feeding him. And he stayed hot. But that's part of what makes Purdue work, is that, they adapt to whatever's going on. They're really savvy. They're a great defensive team. And but Zach Edey's the beast. I mean, you just pick your poison with him. You double team him, he's still going to get 18 to 20, or you can leave him alone and give him 35. But, you've got to deal with the rest of the players too, and it's a lot to ask.
Read him every day, CBSSports.com, at JPPalmCBS on the Twitter, updating the brackets twice a week. Bubba Watch around the corner. Jerry, always appreciate the time. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Jerry Palm, CBS Sports, looking at the ceiling for some of the Mountain West teams and what's ahead for the Lobos. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by KFC.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all. Style stucco. Stucco is the way to go. A Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream Style Stucco.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures.
Will it be better in LA for Justin Herbert with Kellen Moore in town? Brandon Staley still has a job, surprising a lot of people. But can Kellen Moore take some of the pressure off Brandon Staley? And Justin Herbert, about a year ago, he was the dude. He was the next big thing. He was the guy that was chomping at the heels of Patrick Mahomes. He's still pretty good. But we watched a bad second half in the playoffs from the Chargers. Got beat by the Jaguars. Does Trevor Lawrence step into that space? The answer is yes. The AFC has a lot of good young quarterbacks, proven quarterbacks at the top. But Kellen Moore, now the OC of the Los Angeles Chargers, and with teams at the Senior Bowl, owners, coaches talking, what does the future hold? Because there's going to be some new guys in town with the NFL draft and some veteran quarterbacks that the market might not be as hot as we expected it to be going into the offseason. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck Amory, our quarterback, Ned James. I really like this matchup for the Chargers, bringing Kellen Moore in. The dude's proven, man. You look at the offenses he put together with Mike McCarthy in Dallas. Dak Prescott put up numbers. They got yards and they got points. And now he goes in, some people say has a better quarterback now in Justin Herbert to run an offense with. I like that a lot. But when you take a step back and you look at all the offseason movement and the teams that need quarterbacks, because that's the next step. You're evaluating quarterbacks at the Senior Bowl. We're looking ahead to the free agent class. To me, we know what's going to happen. Indianapolis, Houston, they got top 4 draft picks. They're going to decide between C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young. one guy I can't really figure out to this point, Ned, the Kentucky quarterback, Will Levis. I kind of get a Jay Cutler vibe from him.
Uh-oh.
Just good. He's got the traits. Yeah, you played in a tough conference, won some games, but are you really that deep? Why I'm buying C.J. Stroud is because I just watched Justin Fields do it. And it's not a sense of, oh, that's such a loaded roster. Of course he's going to be good. We've kind of seen that from some of the Alabama quarterbacks before Tua really hit this year. So I like C.J. Stroud as my top guy in this quarterback class. So those guys are going high. C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, the quarterback from Alabama. We'll see what teams feel on Will Levis. And then it's the fallout of where are these veteran quarterbacks going to go. And with Tom Brady off the board, Jimmy Garoppolo, Kyle Shanahan yesterday saying it does not look like that they'll get back together. So if you figure San Francisco, you got to go with Trey Lance and say, hey, we have a great football team. Can we manage Trey Lance so he can be effective like a Daniel Jones was this season for the Giants, but on a much better football team? It's looking more and more like you'll sign a short-term deal for Daniel Jones to stay with the Giants. The Seahawks will do the same thing with Geno Smith and then use all that draft capital they have to invest in that roster. And then you're looking around going, oh, just like that, there's Derek Carr, who are the Raiders going to cut him? Can the Raiders now take a step back and go, all of a sudden this veteran quarterback market dried up pretty quick. Are we going to try to get some draft capital from him? Just a couple of days ago, it was looking like maybe this is going to be a pretty spicy offseason when it comes to quarterbacks. It feels like it's pretty cut and dry right now with what we're seeing.
And everything is predicated on the head coach and his stature with the team, if he's on the hot seat or not. Is there a sense of desperation with any of these teams? Or are these teams, building for the future? Those all play into, who's going to be picked at quarterback, or who's going to, what free agent quarterback is going to move or go somewhere. Because it's always unexpected. You just never know.
Senior Bowl practices this week. Super Bowl 57 next week. And then it's full-on off-season mode for the NFL. Lobos last night at Utah State, they lose to the Aggies. Play the 10 worst minutes of basketball all season long to start that game. What are your thoughts, Lobo fan? And head coach Richard Pitino, how did he feel post-game watching the Lobos struggle against the Aggies? This is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Nelson, he's got 3 fouls, so he doesn't really want to be getting the ball.
The dagger. That's
Gomez!
Inside.
Hochschild gives it up. Shot is up. Oh! Ball goes inside to Duke, guarded by Trujillo. Eli with the tip and the finish. Schermerhorn on the drive. Yes, strong fit.
She's going to got numbers. She's gonna
1
make it.
second. She slips it in just a. Still some time. Montoya, plenty of room. Yes. Wide open long ball for Jason Montoya. Against the screen, ball fake, but rejected. Oh, rejects it. Quickly, or if they hold for the final. Wyckoff, yes, count the basket. A chance at a 3-point play for Wyckoff, and a free throw is coming up.
Catch and shoot.
E. Hill, give it to the hot hand. Why not?
What happened to the boys? And I was like,
Coach.
I guess they knew about it.
One more.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. This is the opening drive with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta, A. Marie Castillo, and J.J. Bob.
Soon to be sportscaster. Amory holding it down. J.J. Buck and Ed James, the quarterback, with you this morning. Thank you for hanging out with us on the opening drive. Lobos lose at Utah State last night, 84-73. So New Mexico is 19-4 overall, 6-4 in Mountain West play, and that's just wild to think about. As good as the Lobos are, because I still think they're a very good basketball team, they're in 5th place in the Mountain West Conference. They have some of the best wins of anyone in the conference at St. Mary's, at San Diego State. Yet they're 6-4.
Yeah, but it's, what have you done for me lately?
That's life in the Mountain West Conference. It's the
win.
good and the bad. The good is that wasn't a bad loss last night for the Lobos. Utah State's a good basketball team. That'll probably be a quad 1 win for Utah State over the Lobos. So it wasn't a bad loss. It was how they lost the game. The performance from New Mexico, because we have not seen them look like that. Even in the losses, Fresno State, UNLV, Nevada, they competed. They had an opportunity. They did not have an opportunity in this game last night. It was Utah State from start to finish. The Lobos played the worst 10 minutes of basketball they played all season long. The first 10 minutes. They get down. They go on a run late in the first half. They go on an 11-0 run to get it 27-23 within 4 points late in the first half. Utah State immediately responds, goes on a 7-0 run, and then just like that at halftime, the Lobos are down 19 points, 46-27. And you're not overcoming that hole on the road against a good basketball team. Utah State played fantastic basketball. They attacked early, and they attacked often. They were plus 16 from the free throw line, and they made the Lobos look uncomfortable offensively. They could never get in a rhythm. And it's one of those games, if you look at the box score, you're like, okay, Mashburn Jr. had 17, House had 14. Combined, it was 6 assists, 4 turnovers. But it never felt like the Lobo backcourt was in control in this game.
Yeah, and you know, when you're a coach, I'm sure a coach is thinking, like, where did I go wrong with this plan? How did this plan fail in so many ways? What did I not do to put our guys in the best position to win this game? And that's, you know, that's every coach, that's every game. You know, even when you win, you kind of have some doubts about maybe you should have won by more, you should have done this differently or done this, you know, a certain way. And so that's the question they're asking themselves. You know, how did we let this one get so far away from us? What couldn't we do that made us look more inferior than our opponent? And they're gonna answer those questions when they get back and start getting into the gym and watch the film. They're gonna go through the film and they're gonna go into practice and they're gonna correct some of these mistakes, and they're gonna, you know, go back out and try to redeem themselves this Tuesday.
So the Lobos, rough start, rough finish, but they're coming back home to play at Nevada Tuesday night. And talking with Jerry Palm, CBS Sports, you want to win at home, but it's the road games that are big. It's the road victories that are still keeping the Lobos alive in a solid place when we're talking to at-large resume. That's been my focus. You want to be an at-large team, you're going to have opportunities. The conference tournament is there. You're going to get a chance to play good teams. You got a chance to win an automatic bid. But if you can be an at-large team, you can give yourself that room for error where you don't have to win the conference tournament. You don't have to win 2 or 3 games in Las Vegas. Or if you win 1 or 2 games, it just solidifies where you are as an at-large team. That's my focus, looking at the Lobos.
One other thing is you don't want to get swept in your conference.
That's right.
If you're playing a team twice, that's not going to look good to the committee if you get beat twice by a team, particularly a team that doesn't finish really well in the wins and losses.
The only
the season.
Team that could sweep the Lobos that's not good is Fresno State. Because Utah State was the only meeting of the 2 teams this season was last night. You have at Boise State, San Diego State, and Nevada. Of what you're talking about is
they don't play UNLV again.
No.
Okay, so
they're 1 and done with UNLV,
so
1 and done
Fresno
with Utah State.
and Nevada.
So it'd be Fresno State and Nevada, teams that could sweep the Lobos.
Yeah, and so that's what we have to be careful of, especially if Fresno State, like you said, is not, you know, one of those top teams to finish in the tournament. If they don't, you know, make a run in the Mountain West Conference tournament, you know, those are the things I think that the I guess the guys who put people into the tournament will.
Well, when you're looking at resumes and net rankings and quality wins, bad losses, all this stuff goes on that team sheet that's presented to the committees. But for the Lobos last night, the offense was frustrating, but so was the defense. We know that the Lobos are an offensive first team. The efficiency when they're clicking, that makes things a little bit easier. The way I put it, because I know Ned James is our quarterback, and you know more basketball than you like to let on, by the way, Ned. The Lobo men's basketball is a lot like a high-powered, like, do I make the comparison? I don't know if I want to make the comparison or not.
Do it.
The Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
Yes.
Bend but don't break defense. Where you got the offense clicking, you're scoring a ton of points, and then you get the turnovers. That's Lobo basketball. where they're not going to
That's
hang
great.
their hat on defense, but when they speed you up, they put the pressure on you, you start chasing the game. That's when Jalen House looks really good. That's when this team is grabbing the rebound and going the other way. And they fell behind and they couldn't get that last night against Utah State.
A lot of people call that making the game ugly. You want to make it so it's a scramble fest and not where people are setting up plays and they're able to, execute, slow the game down, that kind of stuff. You want to speed people up, make the game jagged, make people do things that they're not used to doing, especially with their game plan offensively, and then defensively make it to where it's something that's uncomfortable for them. A lot of times, you go into a game with a game plan and then you have to make an adjustment because they're doing something that you didn't expect them to do. And so you change, you adjust your game plan. Sometimes if people do stuff that you weren't expecting them to do, you say, okay, well, we're just going to stick with our game plan. We're going to do what we came in here to do. So those are some of the things that coaches have to look at. I really, the Richard Pitino comment that the team didn't have confidence, or they didn't execute the game plan. They didn't trust the game plan. They didn't stick with the game plan. Those are the kind of things that happen when you kind of get out of sorts and people put you in a position where you're not used to being in. And so that makes you kind of, you have a game plan. All of a sudden you start doing your own thing because your game plan's out because they're doing something you didn't expect to see them do. So that happens a lot. It happens in every sport. And so you just have to be able to adjust.
Well, with Richard Pitino, one of the things, too, was he was disappointed in the Lobos defense last night and how that aspect really got away from them as well.
They're good at they spread you out and you get consumed with guarding the three, and then they drive it on you. And a lot of the fouls came on drives. We also gave up some offensive rebounds, some tip outs where it was like an 8-9 point game. And, the kid's a big kid, obviously, but we got to secure that rebound. So, I told the guys after, if we can learn from this and grow, we're going to be a better team because of it. It's probably the first game, although we lost 3 before, where I was really disappointed in that first half. Even the 3 losses that we had, I was not. That first half didn't look like us. Second half showed a little bit better fight. But to our credit, we have been ready to go every single game. So we got to learn from it. Coaches, players, everybody's got to get better from it.
Yeah, and I think we all saw that first 10 minutes. Not something we've seen from the Lobos this season. Because even when they trailed, you go to the San Francisco game, the St. Mary's game, a lot of it was just tough basketball. Like the Lobos were competing, good defense both ways, tough shots. And then you were behind. Yesterday, it was sloppy basketball. Utah State dictating things on both ends of the floor, setting the tone and putting the Lobos behind. And then, you get some people on the text line saying they were the low blows last night. I thought those days were over. Well, they are over. It was a really bad game last night, but not quite there. And then our Sebastian Forsling hater is back on the text line. Not a fan of Sebastian Forsling. I don't want to read the whole thing.
One of the nicest kids, though. Nicest guys.
Sebastian Forsling, I know frustrates some Lobo fans. I know. Because you're just hold on to the basketball, big man.
Yeah.
Be strong. But he's still a guy you need on the roster because he is a great teammate.
Right.
He has his moments.
Yeah. And with young people, sometimes
stop hating on Sebastian Forsling so much.
Sometimes with young people, we, because we see that they're so big, we expect them to be the big behemoth that we, see when we see a giant thing. And so a lot of times,
a giant from Sweden.
Yeah, these are young kids. And I use the analogy with football. It's big kids in football. You expect the big guys to be tough in football, and most of the times those big offensive linemen, defensive linemen are teddy bears, and it's because, and this is something that I learned from an old coach, and he says, it's very rare to find big guys who are really mean and nasty and tough because they've always been the big guy, and when you're the bigger kid, your mom always tells you,
be nice
to the little kids because you're going to hurt somebody because you're bigger than they are. And so you're used to hearing that your whole life to not hurt the little kids, that you become sensitive.
So you're telling me, Ned, that we need to tell our big kids to be more vicious.
No.
So they'll be better in the trenches.
We don't. We don't want the big kids on the schoolyard beating up the little kids and bullying the little kids.
Be better. Be better offensive tackle.
But people see big people and they automatically think, oh my God, they walk to the other side of the street because they think this big behemoth. And most times these big guys are just gentle giants. And a lot of times, with Sebastian, I could definitely see that because there's nothing. I don't see a mean streak. And he may have it. There may be a button you have to push to get it out of him. And, coaches, that's why you pay the coaches the big bucks. They have to get it out of the guys.
To figure out what it's going to be.
What is it going to take?
The edge.
A lot of times, you have to be careful, too, because these are young men. I mean, these guys will develop. They'll develop into play.
He's a sophomore, by the way.
Yeah,
right?
he is. He's just like 19 or something like that. And, he's cultured, very cultured. I like the fact that he's a cultured guy, so you can talk to him about almost anything, and he's able to, kind of speak, intelligently on it. But he's going to develop. He's just got to get stronger, and that takes time. I mean, I've got to see him put in the work. He's got to definitely put in the work. I don't know if we want to send him to Europe in the summertime because I think he's eating too much.
He played basketball over the summer.
I know.
Team Sweden.
He's eating too many of those Swedish danishes and Swedish meatballs and
so good
chocolate.
Though,
Swedish chocolate.
You're gonna go back home. You're gonna eat the food, Dad.
I know.
You're gonna eat the food.
But we got to have him in America grinding. He's got to be in the States.
Weight room.
Yeah, he's got to make the weight room his home. He's got to get a little bit stronger. And I think once that comes, I think the confidence will come with him as a young player, and then I think he'll grow from there. But he's got to make a big leap, I think, from this year to next year as far as his strength is concerned.
Well, hey, Maria, I know Tuesday, 377 Brewery is going to be popping.
Oh, it's going to be popping. That's
Steve Alford in town, Nevada.
Yeah.
Double overtime loss.
Double. 5:30, 7:30 before the game. Come on over.
It's going to be lit.
It's going to be lit. People were talking about it even before this game. They were talking about the last home game against Air Force. They were all talking about it. They couldn't wait till Alfred comes in town. So
can't wait. Let's go.
A lot of hype coming up.
246-0610, the 377 Brewery hotline and text line this morning. It's JJ Buck, Amory, quarterback Ned James. It is opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Say my name, say my name.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a
Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa cleared concussion protocol more than a month after entering it. So this one, I've heard multiple theories on this, that they just really didn't even want Tua messing around with the pro football, flag football game, or skills challenges. But if you're worried about your starting NFL quarterback
getting a concussion in the flag football
playing a flag football game and getting hurt, we have to have serious conversations of who is going to be the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins moving forward.
Absolutely.
If you don't want him at a flag football game, hey, then what are you going to do?
Yeah. And that's a problem. I mean, what are you going to do with Tua? He's going to get hit. He's not going to be clean every game. So is it every time he gets hit, he's in the concussion protocol? You really have to be careful because it's going to be hard to manage because, he's the most watched concussed guy in the history of football. I mean, when you're on CNN because you got a concussion, I mean, there's concussions every play in the NFL with the linemen and guys banging into each other. I mean, guys are getting head trauma a lot in professional football. So it's just going to be interesting to watch and see if he's going to be able to make it through a season. I mean, that's going to be something with his career. If anybody's going to take a chance on a guy who's got that history, because it's taken a lot of guys out of the game. I mean, a lot of the guys whose careers were finished that were quarterbacks, the Steve Youngs, the Troy Aikmans, it was because of concussions. And so
now it was only 2 official concussions last year for Tua. He was sustained a concussion week 4, missed a better part of 6 games than what we saw in week 16. But you also had that Buffalo game in there where he was wobbly, but didn't come off the field, wasn't truly diagnosed with a concussion. That's just scary. Because Tua showed you that he can be one of those quarterbacks in the NFL that can win you games. That was a giant question. Can Tua stay on the field, and is he going to be able to execute an offense? And with the playmakers they had around him, Mike McDaniel coming in, the answer was yes. But now, if your quarterback can't take a sack, I don't know how the Dolphins were so adamant, because their general manager, Chris Greer, said that Tua will be the team's starting quarterback next season. All right, maybe you don't bring Teddy Bridgewater back, but is that a Baker Mayfield landing spot? Like, you're going to have to find someone that you thought Teddy Bridgewater was the stable guy. Unfortunately, he got dinged up as well, but is an upper echelon backup in that situation.
Yeah, I could see him bringing in Baker because of McDaniel's relationship, with the Western Conference and McVay and those guys down there. So, I mean, I could see that happening. it's going to be interesting with the concussion thing. And I watched it this year, particularly in NFL. We talked to Chuck Cecil a while back, who was notorious for knocking guys out. It was surprising to me, even though I know Chuck, that he was like concerned about the safety and that sort of stuff with players in the game now, and that it's important. But I'm watching it more and more on the sidelines where guys are fighting the training staff, they're fighting doctors because they get a little wobbly and they come off to the sideline, and there's a doctor coming over to take their helmet to say, hey, we're going to have to check you out, and they don't want to get checked out because they know I'm going to get taken out of this game, or I'm going to get put in that protocol, and I'm not going to be able to be allowed to play. So it's just one of those things where, there's the liability issue with the teams, with the clubs, the league is worried about, and so they're going to start demanding that these spotters and the doctors take precedent over the head coach, and that's always been a battle in the NFL.
It should be right now. Like when it comes to managing the head injuries, that should not be something any of the coaches have a say in. But you're right; it's a battle. You see it now. Players trying to hide, players trying to make sure they get out the field and not be seen by the trainers. But all eyes are on those guys. 505-246-0610, the 377 Brewery hotline and text line this morning. So Lobos lose last night at Utah State, 84-73. They're 19-4 overall, but 6-4 in Mountain West play. Mud wants to talk about the Lobos. What's up, Mud?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Yeah, man, very disappointed. I really think this team is really good, and they're going to bounce back against Nevada. It's in the pit. It's going to be passionate and everything, so I think they'll bounce back. But the thing is, though, is that I don't know if you guys noticed, but it looked like they were like in a disagreement or some kind of like not an altercation, but just like if they were like fighting each other, or maybe someone didn't do something and they got mad or whatever. But it seemed to me like they had some kind of vibe where like it was a negative vibe, and they were like playing off that, man, and it really was like awful to see. I mean, I don't know if you guys see it. I seen it, but hopefully they regroup and they play together as brothers, man. I mean, they were doing so good this whole year, man, and it's a shame to end out like this, man. I hopefully everything's all right and coach could pull the reins or whatever and see the Lobos can pull out the season. I mean, they have some good games coming up. They're not easy, but they're not Utah State or San Diego State. I mean, I know they play San Diego State in the pit, but I think that hard one would probably be that Boise State game in Boise here in a couple weeks. So
going on the road for that contest. Appreciate the phone call, Mud. And to his point, there was not good vibes last night. Right. You're down early.
Yeah.
You're struggling. Utah State is taking away what you want to do. Utah State's dictating the game on both ends of the floor, and you're going to look like you're upset.
Yeah, it's called frustration.
Yeah.
It's it happens late in the season. You're tired. You've been through the majority of your season. You're riding on airplanes with the same guys. Everybody doesn't listen to the same music. Everybody's got different issues going on. Yeah, but at the same time, people are just different. Guys are different. Guys talk to guys differently. Guys socialize differently. So it's just that time of the year. It gets late in the year, and coaches know it. You get into the dog days late in the year, and you got to just find something to change it up a little bit. You'll change up practice. You'll change up where guys sit. At the dining hall. You'll do something to change it up just to get the guys aware of their surroundings and get the guys more locked in and focused on what they need to do. And like Mud said, those you see the frustration. Even I feel he's right about that, because I thought I sensed it too a little bit. With guys when they got into the huddle, they all seemed to want to have an opinion or say something, and whereas before one guy would speak and they would all listen, they all seemed to kind of start chattering a little bit about what was going on. But that happens, and later in the season it happens more because guys are tired and guys are tired of being around each other, and
Utah State got into them last night.
Guys, yeah. And
Utah State got under their skin a little bit. It was a great performance for the Aggies, and the first really frustrating night for the Lobos. There's been some tough losses, moments in games where they didn't execute, but last night was really the first bad game. from start to finish for the Lobos. Cliff, you're on the opening drive. What's going on, Cliff?
Good morning, guys. How are you doing?
Doing good, man.
Good. You know what? I'm not happy about the loss, but I love Coach Pitino because he's very realistic about his position. It was a game plan. Utah's coach did a great game plan in the front. It was a hard punch right on the front end. It was just a hard punch, and these guys couldn't recover. But it is a learning process, and from what I understand, never being to Utah, it is a hard place to play because the Mountain West has hard places to play. If you've ever been to Wyoming, and you have, I know, is that you get dropped into these places that aren't just normal places that you drive to every day. So it's a lot of travel, and it's just a lot of time. But I definitely think they'll learn from this, and it was a disciplined team. Utah's a disciplined team. So.
Well, Cliff, appreciate the call, man. We'll see you out there at 377 Brewery on Tuesday. And the Mountain West it's a fun league because it's like the last conference that makes sense.
I thought that was so funny.
Like
these
Mountain
aren't normal
West
places.
Teams. But yeah, usually to get to Logan, you don't fly into Logan.
Yeah.
Either fly into Salt Lake City and bus up, or fly into Ogden and bus to northern Utah. So there's a lengthy bus ride involved wherever. It's rare that you fly into Laramie charter.
Yeah.
We did on the women's side this season. It was nice. But usually you're going to Denver and then you're busing up to Laramie and then come back down to Fort Collins.
But normal places hit me a different way. I remember almost quitting playing football because it was so cold when I went to go play in Laramie, Wyoming. And when he said normal places, that wasn't a normal place. I'm thinking people shouldn't play football in a place like this. And you're from Los Angeles.
Laramie, Wyoming is not normal.
I'm like, how do I get out of this game? But it was old school back then. And if you didn't play, you might have came back to the dorms.
It
and
is
the dorm key didn't work. And
what
meal
Craig
card
Bull
would
has done in Laramie.
Yeah.
Because you go into Laramie, Wyoming, you blink, you'll miss the two exits to get off the highway.
It's not a normal place, JJ.
And you're like, wait a second. Is there anything else in this state? You go through Cheyenne and Laramie, and then you're wondering, when is the next time I will see civilization? Forget to exit.
There's no light posts. City guys come in, there's no light posts. Where are the light posts? And people start laughing at you. Light posts? What are those? They're called stars here. We look up in the sky. That's our light posts.
That's the beauty of the Mountain West. Tough teams, tough environments, good basketball. Now, the Lobos, here's the thing. It wasn't a bad loss resume-wise. It was a bad loss performance-wise. Because right now, the top 5 in the Mountain West Conference are really good. UNLV's coming. You heard Jerry Palm, CBS Sports this morning. He's saying UNLV's not completely off his board. Not quite a bubble team just yet. But that means that there's plenty of opportunities, but then there's also plenty of games where these teams are going to come up and get you in conference play. And that's why the Lobos are sitting there already 6-4 through 10 games in conference play. JJ Buck Amory, our quarterback, Ned James. Did you have something? Oh, sorry. I thought you raised your hand. I was like, yes, Amory, you're up. It's opening.
I mean,
drive.
I do have something, but you'll see.
Okay. Here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
I have a word for you, and that is Theobroma, which is Greek for food of the gods. Now, what if I told you guys I know a place called Theobroma Chocolatier? Yes. Doesn't that just sound amazing? Theobroma Chocolatier is located on Montgomery and Tramway and should be your go-to place for all your chocolate needs, especially for your holidays and special events. It is a chocolate experience like nothing else. There's a huge event coming up, fellas, and I'm not talking about the big game. I'm talking about Valentine's Day. So don't wait until after the big game to get that cheap drugstore candy. Call the owner, Heather, at Theobroma Chocolatier at 293-6545 and find your perfect chocolate experience for your Valentine. Whether it's her melt in your mouth chocolate truffles, gosh, doesn't that sound amazing? Soft center, sea salt caramels, chocolate covered popcorn, she has it all. So again, stop by. Don't wait till after the big game. Stop by Theobroma Chocolatier today or place an order over the phone, again, at 293-6545. Again, I'm going to give you that number one more time, 293-6545.
Nelson, he's got 3 fouls, so he doesn't really want to be getting the ball.
The dagger. That's
Gomez!
Inside.
Hochschild gives it up. Shot is up. Oh!
Ball goes inside to Duke, guarded by Trujillo. Eli with the tip and the finish.
Schermerhorn on the drive. Yes, strong fit.
She's going to got numbers.
1 second. She slips it in just a.
Still some time. Montoya, plenty of room. Yes. Wide open long ball for Jason Montoya.
One against the screen. Ball fake, but rejected. Oh, rejects it.
Quickly, or if they hold for the final. Wyckoff, yes, count the basket. A chance at a 3-point play for Wyckoff, and a free throw is coming up.
Catch and shoot.
Hill, give it to the hot hand. Why not?
What happened to the boys? And oh boy. I guess they knew about it.
One more.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
Opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. Thank you for joining us this morning. You never know who's listening. Appreciate everyone. Picked up my lunch yesterday and someone was like, hey, JJ Buck. I was like, yes? Maybe? Depends.
Yeah. Who are you?
Appreciate you guys listening every morning. Thank you. Without y'all, we wouldn't be able to do this in the morning, talking sports, having some fun. Looking ahead, Reaction Lobos lost last night at Utah State. You excited for the flag football Pro Bowl game, Ned James? I know this. You actually love the Pro Bowl because you got to experience it as a coach.
Yes.
And you had some really cool experiences.
Yes.
Memories.
Yes.
Stories.
Yes.
But the Pro Bowl game itself, I definitely lost its luster the last few years. So they had to switch it up. So guess what? You get flags.
Yeah. And they're going to switch it back. They're going to switch it back eventually because
you think so?
Yeah, because contracts are tied to it.
Well, you still are a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, the status.
It's just a flag football game.
Well, yeah. But, I mean, when somebody's going to blow a knee out in the flag football game, it doesn't – the players will take care of themselves. They know how to take care of each other. When we played the Pro Bowl game in Hawaii, the players – we didn't have any injuries. You didn't get any injuries because guys play, whether they play hard or not, they're going to eventually play hard because all you have to do, and I don't care how many millions of dollars you have, is you just make the pot better. The winners get substantially more money than the losers of the game. It's already that way, but you make it even more. And eventually they're going to play hard because you're going to get a halftime speech like we got.
Do you want to see them playing hard in a Pro Bowl?
Absolutely. Because it's a football game. You got to play. guys, this is what you do. You're not going to go to an exhibition boxing match and have, well, they're not going to have gloves on and they're not going to punch each other. They're going to, they're going to run around the ring and just whisper sweet nothing. Exhibitions happen all the time. There's exhibition matches all the time in basketball. You don't think a guy in basketball can get hurt?
I'm probably sure we could find that on YouTube somewhere, actually. Two people running around a ring whispering sweet nothings to each other.
Because they don't want to punch each other because it's dangerous. And it's a dangerous sport. Okay, yeah, but those things happen. You have exhibition games. These guys, these professional players, they're professional for a reason. They know how to help each other. They know how to protect each other. And if there's a guy who's got a hit out on him, that guy knows not to play in the Pro Bowl game. Because that happened when I was a coach in the Pro Bowl game. The players were like, hey, everybody's off limits on the AFC team. And Jeff Fisher, I always remember him saying, I didn't hear this. I didn't hear what you guys said. They said everybody on the NFC team is off limits except Terrell Owens. We're going to get him today. We're going to get him.
What did
Terrell Owens
do?
He played maybe 5 snaps in the first quarter. He went up for a ball, and he almost got his arm broke. And he went over to the sidelines and told Andy Reid, I'm done for the day. Because they're like, we're coming to get you. And so they have
That's why it's flag football now.
Yeah, these NFL guys, they have a union. They're union guys. They understand all of them are a part of the union. They're not going to do anything to hurt each other as union members. But if you cross the line, they're going to remind you, hey, you crossed the line, Terrell. You did this. So we're going to get you in the Pro Bowl.
In the Pro Bowl, wow.
Yeah.
And that is why it's flag football now. Ned James wants his Pro Bowl football back.
My Pro Bowl football back.
If they're gonna
play, if they play flag football,
the only reason I like this weekend is because the Manning brothers are going to make it very fun and entertaining. But besides that, I want the old Pro Bowl too.
If they play flag football, just like the exhibition boxers have to have gloves on, or they're not going to have gloves on and run around and whisper sweet nothings. If they're going to play flag football, I want offensive linemen. I want them suited up head to toe with pads on playing flag football. Play flag, but put all your pads on. You got to wear a helmet, shoulder pads, cleats, knee pads.
I didn't even think of that.
Everything. But
what
to
the
have
offensive
them go out
linemen
there
are going to be doing now
and have
in a
guys,
flag football game.
Dress, put on dresses to play flag football. I don't know what they're going to be wearing. They wear whatever they want to wear. But
what people do, shorts.
Shorts, yeah. But I mean, why you don't play it?
Compression
You don't play the
shorts?
game in shorts. You play
But
football.
it's
in
not
pads.
football anymore. It's flag football, man. That's the Pro Bowl.
It's the Pro Bowl.
It's not that serious.
It's not flag football. It's the Pro Bowl.
505-246-0610 is the 377 Brewery hotline and text line. Lobos lose at Utah State last night, 84-73. Travis wants to talk some Lobos. What's going on, Travis?
Good morning, fellas. Look, on with Ned James. Ned James holding it down all week long.
Hey.
Excuse me, the great Ned James. I apologize. Let me make sure I say that with some respect. I do have to say, look, if they're going to keep rolling this flag football thing for the Pro Bowl, like Ned, you could probably get out there and get it done, no? Like, if they're going to play flag football, can't you? You could probably still get out there and roll, right?
No. I know my limitations. I can't. These are professional athletes. I'm just worried about the injuries. I mean, there'll probably be more injuries in the flag football game than if they put on pads. Make them put on pads and play flag football. If you go, you guys want to play flag? Okay, but you're going to wear all your gear. And then they'll want to play tackle football. It'll move from flag to what it should be, which is football.
Yeah, I mean, look, for the sake of the league and for these players' careers, you hope that everybody, all the players get to come out of that game clean. That's always the fear of those Pro Bowl games. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited to see the format because they're changing it up, and the Pro Bowl is in need of that. But we'll see how everything works out. But look, last night was a tough game. But, even though they started out, the Lobos sort of were not really with it. They did not show up and look like they were ready to play at the start of that game. After the under 8-minute timeout in the first half, Lobos went on a great run. And as, Ned and JJ and Amory, as you guys have been talking about all morning, they ultimately cut it to 4. And I don't think anybody watching that game felt like they were going to lose it. I mean, I certainly felt like they were going to come back and win it. And even, Like, they were down 11 most of that first half, and I still thought they could win. And that's just because of the fight that we've seen in this team, how talented we know that they are. And unfortunately, the hole that they ended up, that 19-point hole that they came out of halftime in, it was too much for them to overcome. But there's still a lot of really good things with this team. But I just want to say one final thing here. I don't understand the hate. Like, the personal attacks on players. Like, they're kids. Sebastian is 19 years old.
Yes.
Like, I'm not saying players who enjoy the praise of the community are immune to criticism from the community, but there has to be a line here. Like, there's something different talking about a player's play versus making personal attacks against 18, 19, and 20-year-old kids. Like that is not right. Lobo fan, you really, really got to do better. I was talking to Anne Marie about this off air. I don't know if this is unique to Lobo fan or if this is like sports fans generally, but this is not okay at all. So anyway, good to see you, Ned. I appreciate what you guys do, and have a good day, guys.
Appreciate you, Travis. You got in 505-246-0610, 377 Brewer hotline or text line. And Travis referencing a text that we were talking about earlier. Someone just not a fan of Sebastian Forsling, taking some shots at him, but he is a great teammate. He's a player you want to have on the roster. There's enough there that Sebastian Forsling, can he be a rotation player? Yes, he can be. He can be a solid rotation player in the Mountain West Conference. But right now, for the Lobos, they're not looking at developing in the moment. It's about the moment. And Morris Udeze, Josiah Alec, that's the front court. That's the strength of this team. And frustrating one last night for the Lobos. A big-time defensive coordinator just made his decision on where he will be going next season.
Who's this?
It's one of Ned James' favorites. And
I know who it is, I think.
We heard earlier this week that could this guy be going back to a place he was a head coach at and joining a big-time hiring? We'll find out. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet.
So one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL has just made his decision final of where he is coaching next season. It's the opening drive. JJ Buck Amory, our quarterback, and Ned James with you here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal. So we had Brandon Cristal on yesterday, right? It was Wednesday, from KOA Radio up in Denver, talking about Sean Payton being hired by the Denver Broncos. And Brandon threw it out there that Sean Payton was working to get Vic Fangio to be his defensive coordinator. Now, that's not crazy because when we heard Sean Payton was ramping back up to get an NFL head coaching job, that was one of the first names we heard, is that Sean Payton wanted to bring Vic Fangio with him wherever he went. Now, this was a little bit different given the fact that Vic Fangio was the head coach of the Broncos and fired
by the Broncos,
by the Denver Broncos. Means nothing because there were talks that maybe if they made him the highest paid assistant coach out there, he'd come back and work for the Denver Broncos. Vic Fangio is a very good defensive coordinator.
Yes.
And you know who just got better on defense? Miami Dolphins. As Vic Fangio is going to join the Miami Dolphins. This is a story that came out a few days ago, but then there was some reports that he wasn't final on taking that job. He might be looking at San Francisco if that position opened up with Ryans going to Houston. You know, could he go be Kyle Shanahan's DC? Well, he is going to Miami. So Mike McDaniel brings in Vic Fangio to a defense that just acquired Bradley Chubb. We got Javon Holland, Jalen Phillips, Christian Wilkins, defensive tackle, a unit that wasn't as good as expected to be last year, and that's a big time move for the Dolphins.
Oh yeah, I mean it's always a good move when you get one of these seasoned veteran, guys who've been in the league, know the league, understand how the league operates, and they become your defensive coordinator, de facto defensive coordinator. Now, McDaniels is going into year 2. Am I correct? With McDaniels, the coach that's at Miami, the head coach?
Mike McDaniel?
Yeah, this is going to be his second year. Now,
Yes.
they got you on film. You can get people that first year when you come in the league and you're a smart, up-and-coming, rising star coordinator, but all they need is a year on you in the league. Now they study you. Now the offense is being researched this winter and this spring, and they will have an answer for what McDaniels did last year. So you're going to have to be strong defensively. You're going to have to tighten up your special teams. You're going to have to do things a lot better than you did the first year offensively, because people are coming for you. And this helps with having a guy like Fangio on your defense, because now, your team is able to kind of counteract some of the deficiencies the offense are going to have moving forward, particularly with your quarterback being in the situation he is with the concussions. But you're now in a position where your defense can carry you if your offense somehow slips up a little bit.
Yeah, and that's, a team, Miami, we saw how good they could be when Tua was healthy. That's your giant question mark, as we've discussed. What do you do with Tua, man? I'm scared right now for this guy as your starting quarterback going into next season. He can play at a high level, but it's just one hit that could take him out and could end up ending his career. The man had 2 diagnosed concussions. Who knows what else? We know how dangerous the game of football is. No one is denying that. But you get to a certain point where it's not just, he got a concussion, he's back out there. There were some scary moments.
Yeah, and who's liable? Is it the individual's liability, or is it the club's liability, or the NFL, the league's liability? Who's liable if something is to happen to Tua if he comes back, or when he comes back and he gets another concussion, and they decide that, hey, maybe this is just not going to work? Does Tua get to have any say in this, or do the medical people decide his future as a player in the NFL, or does the league decide his future? That's what people are kind of torn with, because do you want to take the individual responsibility away from the player? I don't know. That's a tough one, because most people would err on the side of caution when it comes to the brain, but football players, I call us meatheads for a reason. We think differently, and so I think it's going to be a tough decision for all parties involved.
Tua, he's going to want to play again. I feel that way. You see him, doing what he could to support his teammates till at the end of the season, when it was Teddy Bridgewater, then it was Skylar Thompson, and that team fought like crazy. What they did at Buffalo was insane.
Yeah.
With Skylar Thompson QB3 and competing in that game. And so that's why if you're Miami, you keep your fingers crossed, because you feel like you can take those steps forward with Tua. You bring in Vic Fangio as defensive coordinator. And as we sit here and we're looking at who are teams that could pop next year, it's absolutely Miami. We saw it in spurts last year. Now it's the AFC. Everyone's going to be looking at the top 2 quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow.
You saw it in the playoff game and with a third-string quarterback. They almost beat the Bills.
And someone is going to end up being Ben Roethlisberger in all this. Whether it's Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert. Because I think we're going to see a lot of AFC championship games where it is Patrick Mahomes versus Joe Burrow over the next 5 to 7 years. Yeah. But someone's going to come in and steal one of those and win a Super Bowl. And talent-wise, Miami has built a roster where at some point in time, not everyone's a quarterback away. I know that's the whole conversation, is everyone's a quarterback away. But that's a competitive team.
Yeah. But you still have to be leery. I know we talked about the Detroit Lions being a sleeper last year, but boy, that sleeping giant in New England. You better watch out for Belichick. Don't dismiss him.
You think he's coming now that is a real offensive coordinator?
Well, they got O'Brien back now, so it'll be different. I mean, you got to always be leery of that guy, because he's
coming. He's there. He's lurking. There. He's always lurking. I want to thank Jerry Palm, CBS Sports, for joining us. We got some great stuff on deck tomorrow. Former NFL linebacker Chad Brown is going to be on the show, and guess what? That James coached him. It's going to be a surprise when Chad calls in. We're talking a ton of stuff with the former Pro Bowl linebacker on the show
Curious to hear
tomorrow.
what he's going to say.
We got the Jim Rome
Yeah,
show coming
what?
up next. We got Colin Cowherd following that at 1. 2 men on. Follows that. Women's basketball tonight, number 1.
Let's go. Have a great
First
call,
place
JJ.
UNLV in town. The Pit. 7 o'clock tip-off, 6:30 right here on the Sports Animal. Everybody, Meta World, peace and love. Have a great day.
I had a nighttime routine for my frequent heartburn. I would drink milk.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.